1,000 miles away from the city, there was a ruin-like palace on a mountain in the middle of a forest. This palace was known to be haunted in the whole city.
Meet me. I am the only heir of this palace. Yes, I am the ghost of this palace. I have lived here for 500 years. You must be thinking that if I am not bored living here alone, then my answer will be no, because people don't let me get bored. They keep coming and going, and my heart goes on. Just a few days ago, I was watching my favorite TV show with hot tea. It was my very favorite show, and I used to wait for it all day. That suddenly, my whole mood was ruined. Someone was entering by opening the big black gate of the palace. I saw from the balcony that a young man was entering with a small bag in one hand and a torch in the other hand. Well, I feel very bad when someone enters my palace with his face raised at night. It is also a time to disturb. After all, ghosts also have some privacy. Well, I should welcome the guest who has just entered my palace. So I immediately reached the gate. That young man was very scared and was moving forward looking around. I said in my heart, "Why enter such a place when you feel so scared?" Examined the young man from head to toe. Seeing his scared face, I felt pity for him. I followed him. After seeing all rooms, he stopped in front of my room and entered. I got very angry that he had left whole house. He chose my room. So I wanted to scare him away, but seeing the tiredness on his face, I stopped. After all, he was a guest of my house, so I said, "Son, I am just letting you stay tonight." He put his bag down and lit the candle. I started to get angry again. I loved the dark, but I could bear it. Now I can't stay in my room. I said to myself, "Son, just tonight." And I disappeared from there. My today's TV show was also spoiled. Good. It's nothing special. Often these people used to tease me like that, but I used to make fun of them and scare them. And those poor people couldn't last even a day and ran away with their feet on their heads. And I used to laugh for a long time. I still had the same plan, just waiting for the morning, thinking that I started walking around my palace. Soon I got bored and came to my room, where the young man was lying on my bed. The candle was extinguished. I lay down on the couch and slept. In the morning, my eyes opened to the sound of noise. My mood was disturbed. I used to sleep late. I woke up with a jolt and looked at this young man angrily. He was yelling at someone on the mobile saying,
"I know, believe me, I have spent the whole night in this palace room."
And at the same time, he was showing live video of his girlfriend of the room. I got angry and dropped the mobile from his hand. He started looking around with scared eyes, but then quickly picked up his mobile phone. From here, his beloved said,
"Fahad, what happened?"
Fahad laughed dully and said,
"Nothing. The mobile fell from my hand."
Fahad's beloved said,
Aren't you really afraid?
Fahad said,
"Now I can do this much for you, even though it may cost my life. But you have promised that if I win this bet, you will marry me."
From there, the beloved said,
Yes, I remember. Well, leave these things. Did you have breakfast?
Fahad said,
Hey, where did I call you first as I woke up?
You know when is my morning without seeing you.
His beloved blushed. Call ended up. On the other hand, listening to their talking of Romeo and Juliet, my blood started to boil. Is this also love? To put the life of one's beloved in danger for marriage? And here the stuffer man Don't know that if he would die then will he do marriage with dust. I left the room bemoaning the wisdom of today's young generation. We ghosts are better than them who live according to our own will, and do not fall into the cycle of love and marriage. I started making coffee for breakfast, thanking myself for being a ghost. I felt pater to taking sips of hot coffee. I came back to my room. I saw Fahad was eating biscuits and cake without tea. Oh, poor man, how trouble he was going through for his beloved's happiness. I decided that I will teach a lesson to his girlfriend as well. I was thinking of it. On the other hand, Fahad has finished his breakfast and was looking around, and he got out of the room. He was visiting my palace and was checking everything with hand. Finally, he stood front of my grandfather's portrait and looked closely. I felt a mischievous, so I embedded in my grandfather's portrait. Now I smile, and grandfather also smiled. So this Fahad become afraid. He rubbed his eyes and watched again. Now this time I got serious, and grandfather too. But Fahad didn't move, so I winked him. And this time he got really afraid and ran away. He entered my room and locked inside. Before I do anything, his mobile started ringing. Fahad picked up the phone and speak.
Hello, Mama. Yes, I am fine.
I stood behind him and listening his mother's voice. She was saying,
Please, my son, come back. Don't listen her. If she would serious about marrying you, she will do, without any condition. Please, my son, come back. You are my only son, and I don't want to lose you.
Fahad said,
Don't worry, Mom, I will back soon. Okay, Mom, I am coming.
Oh, poor auntie. I got angry again. I thought that I will teach lesson both of them. And at this time Fahad started dialing number and waiting. Restlessness as call picked up, he spoke.
Hello, Sumera, please, if you allow me, I want to come back. I fulfill your wish.
Sumera said,
Enter text. We bet that you will spend 2 nights there, but you stayed 1 night. According our bet, you should stay 1 more night. I know there is no ghost. If it were, you wouldn't be able to spend a night there.
Hearing her words, my blood started to boil. I stood behind Fahad and peeked into the mobile from behind his shoulder. As soon as Samira saw my face, she screamed in fear. She shouted,
Fahad, behind you.
And she fainted. I made a bad face and stepped back and said to myself, I'm not that ugly anymore. Hearing Samira's words, Fahad looked back in fear and hurriedly picked up his bag and ran outside. Seeing his condition, I smiled. Fahad left the gate of the palace. I knew he would not come back, but since I had decided to teach him a lesson, I waited for the marriage of both of them. A year later, they got married, so now every Thursday, I sneak inside Fahad and only scare Samira. It's so much fun. I think I've taught her enough lessons, so I leave it to them. One day, I was walking in my palace, and I was thinking what a man does to get love. Why do fools fall in the cycle of love? Look at me, it's been 500 years since I've been in this cycle of love. I'm lying. I am a bit stupid like a human being. I was just thinking that I realized that someone has entered the palace. I reached the gate flying like the wind. What do I see? A beautiful ghost woman had come inside my palace. She was looking at me and said in surprise,
Hello, sir. What are you doing here and why are you staring at me? Have you ever seen beautiful ghost woman?
Hearing her, I got angry and quickly said, This is my palace. I am the sole owner of it.
She said, Oh, well, if you don't mind, I want to stay here for some time. I have come from far away. I want to rest for some time.
She was looking at me and asking so lovingly that my heart wanted to say yes immediately, seeing me deep in thought. She said,
Well, if you feel bad, I will go somewhere else.
No, this is your palace. Stay here as long as you want. She jumped with joy and started thanking me. It was the first time in 500 years that I liked a ghost woman so much that I couldn't take my eyes off her face. She looked at me with her big red eyes and smiled with her thick lips and said,
Shall we stand here or we'll go inside?
I immediately came to my senses and took her inside and started showing her the whole palace. She was very happy to see the palace, so she also started living with me. In this palace, one day I said to her, Will you marry me? I will give you every happiness. She became even more black and said that,
We'll marry on one condition, if you will name this palace to me.
I said, That's it. Then I will name 10 such palaces after you. Hearing my words, her big red eyes got bigger and bigger with surprise. She said,
Do you have other palaces?
I said, Yes, but we cannot live there. In fact, that palace is very close to the human population. She shook her head and we got married. Humans still come to the palace, but now we don't scare them, but our children scare her. Beware, now I am not alone anymore.
इसने अपनी बड़ी बड़ी लाल आंखों से मेरी तरफ देखा और अपने मोटे मोटे होंठों से मुस्कुराई और बोली,
क्या यहीं खड़े रहेंगे या अंदर भी चलेंगे?
मैं फौरन होश में आया और इसे लेकर अंदर आया। इसे पूरा महल दिखाने लगा। वो महल देखकर बहुत खुश हुई। इस तरह वो भी मेरे साथ इस महल में रहने लगी। एक दिन मैंने इससे कहा, क्या तुम मुझसे शादी करोगी? मैं तुम्हें हर खुशी दूंगा। मेरी बात सुनकर इसके काले फूले हुए गाल सुर्ख होकर और भी काले हो गए। इसने कहा,
एक शर्त पर शादी करूंगा, अगर तुम ये महल मेरे नाम कर दोगे।
मैंने कहा, अरे बस इतनी सी बात है, तुम कहो तो इस तरह के 10 महल और तुम्हारे नाम कर दूं। मेरी बात सुनकर इसकी बड़ी बड़ी लाल आंखें हैरत से और बड़ी हो गईं। वो बोली, क्या तुम्हारे पास और भी महल हैं? मैंने कहा, हाँ हैं, मगर वहाँ हम नहीं रह सकते। वो महल इंसानों की आबादी के बहुत करीब हैं। इसने सुनकर सर हिलाया और हमने शादी कर ली। अब भी महल में इंसान आते हैं, मगर अब हम नहीं डराते, बल्कि हमारे बच्चे उनको डराते हैं।